Hey everyone, it's Kaycie, and today we're going to go through a stretch and mobilize class where the focus is going to be on the feet, on the hips, and the lower back. Only props you're going to need today are 2 blocks, otherwise just you and your mat. So we're going to start off in a standing position today, so make your way up onto your feet. Separate your feet about hips width apart, lift your toes, spread them wide, and then reconnect them back down to the ground. We're going to take 3 deep breaths here. So let's start by just closing the eyes. Let your arms drape down, shoulders relaxed. Feel the lifting of the spine, lift through the crown of your head, and feel the corners of your feet, the edges, all of your toes, and just feel the points of contact with the ground. Feel a lifting through the arches, a slight activation up your legs into your quads. The hips are nice and neutral as the tail stretches towards the ground, navel hugs in. And as the spine lifts, feel everything else kind of soften in this space. Exhale, let all of your breath out. Slow breath in through the nose, fill up into your belly, into your ribs, and all the way up into your chest. Hold your breath at the top. And then out through your mouth, exhale, let it all the way out. Again, through your nose, start to breathe in, fill up into your belly, into your ribs, your back, all the way up into your chest and your shoulders, your upper back. Feel that expansion, a brief hold at the top. And this time you're going to keep the breath through the nose. Exhale, empty out from the top to the ribs and all the way out through your belly and low back. One more here, slow breath in, belly, ribs, all the way up into your chest. Feel the back body, feel the side bodies, holding. And through the nose, exhale, empty out through your chest, empty out through your ribs, and all the way out through your belly. Take one more on your own, slow and steady with your breath. And then let's gently blink open through the eyes. So we're just going to kind of play with the feet, the points of contact, feeling a little bit more balanced and connected to our feet. So from here, you're going to slowly rock forward and begin to lift your heels up away from the ground. And then slowly lower the heels down. Try not to just fall. Slow and controlled movement. Feel weight lean back into your heels. Lift your toes, maybe even float the balls of your feet. And then reconnect nice and slowly, toes down, lean forward. Lift the heels, lift through the arches, come up as high as you can. And then slow motion, lower the heels back down. Feel weight sink into the heels, maybe lift the toes, maybe lift the balls of your feet. Slowly reconnect them back down. Now, this time, as you come forward, I want you to kind of circle to the outsides of your feet, towards the pinky toe side. And as you kind of open up the insides of your feet, rock forward, connect the toes down as you come up. And then you're going to circle in, letting the base of the big toe ground and slowly roll back down onto the heels so the outer edges are flaring up. Okay, so we're kind of finding a circular motion rolling through the ankles and the feet. So as you sink back into the heels, you're going to roll the outsides down to the ground. Start to lean forward as you lift the heels. And as the heels lift, roll up onto the toes, circle the big toes down, roll to the inside of the feet, and then slowly start to lower the heels back down. Go ahead and take a couple more on your own. Just feeling this circular motion. It's okay if you lose your balance. I want you to just feel the motions. And then once you've come back down where the heels connect, we're going to go the opposite direction. So start by rolling the insides of the feet down, leaning in, lifting the heels, rolling to the pinky toe edge, letting the inside roll open as you melt the heels back down slowly. As the heels ground, sickle to the inside. Plant through the big toes as you lean in. Roll to the outsides and back down. So this can also be done while holding onto a wall space or a chair, something for balance. And this turns it into a little bit more of a stretch and getting that dynamic movement in. Go ahead and continue on your own. Otherwise, if you're just doing it without holding on to anything, just a little bit more balance and stability. Okay, next time your heels touch down, kick out the feet. Okay, we're gonna stretch a little bit more into them. Okay, so from here, with the feet down, we're gonna start with the right foot. You're gonna lift the right foot and you're gonna curl the toes and go ahead and set the toes down to the ground and just feel a little bit of weight sinking down. So you're getting a nice stretch into the toes, but equally, I want you to kind of press and then feel a slight extension of your ankle. So with that extension of your ankle, you're gonna feel a stretch all the way up into your shin, to your ankle, the top of the foot, all the way around to the toes. And then release, and this time you're gonna take the foot, bring it back slightly, and then you're gonna really try to press the ball of the foot towards the ground, and imagine trying to fold the top of the foot towards the toes. So now you're just getting a nice flexion. If you need to, draw the foot back, repeat. You can even lean forward a little bit if you need to for an angle. And then release, shake out the foot. Okay, we're gonna go into that other side here. So with the left foot, you're gonna tuck the toes, lift the foot, and set the top of the toes down to the ground, and just feel a slight pressing as you extend out through your ankle. One more breath. Okay, release. You're gonna bring the foot back slightly, tuck the toes. You're really gonna focus on hinging the toes and hinging the ankle. Okay, once again, if you need to come forward a little bit, you can. You should feel a nice bend at the toes. And then bring it up, shake it out. Okay, so now we're gonna make our way closer to the ground. Have your 2 blocks ready somewhere near the front of your mat so they're available to you when you need them. So as you step forward, let's inhale the arms up nice and tall, and then exhale, forward fold, draping down. You can bend the knees generously here, but make sure you're at the top of the mat. If you need to step forward, step forward. You're gonna lengthen the spine here. Keep the right foot where it is, but step back with your left foot into this nice long lunge position. So once you get the knee nice and stacked directly over the ankle, not pointing way over, heel should be grounded, lower the back knee down to the ground and untuck the toes. You're gonna slowly walk your hands up onto that top leg. Now pull your hips back to stack above your back knee. I don't want them sinking behind the knee, right above, okay? If you need to adjust your front foot for stability, go for that, okay? We're gonna be targeting into the hip flexors and the quadriceps on that left side to start, okay? So take your hands to the front and the back of your pelvis. This is one of my favorite movements. You don't need very much, okay? And what you're gonna focus on is tucking the tail under. And as you tuck the tail under, you're over-exaggerating to get an extra lift through the front side of that left hip. So you should already feel a pretty good opening into the left hip and quads. Hold here and breathe. If at any point the knee that's on the ground feels uncomfortable, you can take padding underneath it. You can roll up the edge of your mat. You can take a blanket underneath, anything that helps you. So as you keep the tail tucked, maybe give a little micro bend into the front knee. One more deep breath. Hips back if you sunk forward. Now you're gonna slowly lower the hands down to either side of your foot. So this is where you're gonna want your blocks potentially, okay? If you have tight hamstrings, highly recommend taking the blocks. If you're not sure, you're gonna walk the foot forward a couple inches until you can straighten out the front leg while keeping the hips stacked over the back knee. So same thing, I don't want you to straighten out the leg and let your hips drop all the way back. Keep them stacked, wiggle the foot forward until you can straighten it while keeping that stacking motion. Okay, a nice flex into the ankle. And from here, we're gonna get a nice stretch. So if you're not able to straighten your leg with your hands on the ground, okay, get blocks, lift the ground to you. Okay, if you need to take them all the way to their highest, take them to their highest. Try to get a nice long spine here. Try not to curl over. So wherever you are, with or without your blocks, okay? You're gonna long spine here on an inhale. And then exhale, either stay or hinge at your hips, drape over the right leg. Just give yourself a couple breaths here to enjoy the stretch. Doesn't matter how far you go. Now, lengthen your spine back up, nice and tall. So from here, we're gonna do a couple different things. First thing, I want you to feel your heel press down into the ground, okay? Equally, you're gonna feel your back leg press down. So as you feel your legs press down, you're gonna feel your quads engage. And then I want you to imagine trying to drag your heel back and drag your back knee forward. So front foot pulls back knee pulls forward towards each other. Activate, pull them towards each other, feel the hamstrings engage. Another breath here. And then relax it. And then keep pressing them down. And this time I want you to press them away from each other. Front foot forward, back knee back. Press, press, press. Hold for 3. Breathe, 2. And 1. Relax it here. Wiggle it back in until you can replant that foot. Then we're going to take the foot, we're going to walk it out to about a diagonal, like a 45-degree angle. Walk the hands back up onto that top leg. Adjust it as needed, but keep it at that diagonal. Hips stacked above the back knee, okay? Hands to the front and the back of the pelvis. Emphasize the tucking of the tail. Get that nice opening through the front of the left hip, and then bend into the right knee as much as it feels good to get that stretch. But you're still active in this position. You're still supporting yourself with the strength of the hips. So breathing here. 1 more. Hips pull back to center, and then slowly lower the hands down. Option to grab blocks here, okay? You're gonna take that leg, same angle, and walk it out until you can straighten the leg, toes pull back, hips stay stacked above the back knee, okay? We're not gonna fold over the leg to the side, we're gonna stay folding forward. So we're gonna get different angles into the hips. So 1 or 2 blocks or hands on the ground, long spine. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, maybe fold forward, maybe walk the hands out. 2 breaths. Walk the hands back in, nice long spine. From here, heel presses down, back knee presses down, pull them towards each other, activate. And then relax them. Press the heel and the back knee down. This time, press them away from each other. Feel that activation for 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay. Wiggle the heel back in until you can plant the foot. And then we're going to walk the foot all the way out to the side with a bend into the knee. Toes pointing out. Walk the hands in. Come all the way up. Okay. As you're up here, hands to the front and the back of the pelvis, tuck that tail under, and then adjust the foot if you need to. You're gonna sink into that right hip. Melting in here, keep emphasizing that tail tucking under. Spine up nice and tall. 1 more breath. Hips come back up. Slowly lower your hands down to the ground. Once again, maybe grab your blocks here. You're gonna take the foot, you're gonna walk it out. And then you're gonna flex, coming up onto the heel, toes up. I like to tuck my back toes here, but it's entirely up to you what you'd like to do. You're gonna let your hips sink back towards the back heel, getting that nice stretch into the inner hips and groin. And then as you come forward, plant the foot down. And then you're gonna walk the hands slightly to the left side as you lift the heel up, pivoting on the toes, and then just let your right hip sink down, but keep your chest up high. And then hips pull back as you re-ground the foot. We're gonna do that 1 more time. Walk the hands in, roll up onto the heel, toes up. And then walk it forward as you replant the foot. Hands start to walk away to the left side, pivoting as you come up onto the toes of the right foot, and then let the right hip sink down. Bring it back up, planting that foot. Now, you're basically in a tabletop position on hands and knees, but your right leg's kicked out to the side. So you can walk it in as much as you need to, but we're gonna come into a fire hydrant position with either the leg straight or the knee bent. So you can either kick through the pinky edge and lift the leg straight, or you can bend the knee and lift it out from here. So whether the knee's bent or leg is straight, doesn't matter. I want you to start drawing big circles. Either draw circles with the knee, or if the leg's extended, draw big circles with the foot. And just start to move in one direction, big circles. Feel the burning in the hip. And then reverse the direction. Switch the circular motion. One more here, strong hips. Now extend the leg all the way back behind you, nice and straight, and cross it all the way over to the left side as you set the foot down to the ground. Either the top of the foot or toes tucked, doesn't matter. Long spine on an inhale. And then exhale, walk your hands off to that left side. So you're creating a C curve in the spine from that back foot all the way out to your hands. And then I want you to emphasize by kind of flaring open through your right hip, your side body, find the angles, maybe look back over your shoulder towards the foot, exaggerate that curve in the side body. One more breath. Slowly walk the hands back to center. Leg stretches back to center, and set that knee down to the ground. Take a couple breaths, just move however you please, or find some stillness and position that feels good. And then you're gonna tuck the toes, walk your feet up towards your hands, come back to the top of the mat, nice generous bend into the knees, relax your lower spine, and then lengthen your spine, inhale. This time, keep your left foot planted and let your right foot step back. So you can wiggle it back as much as you need to. Remember, get the ankle right underneath the knee. And then drop the back knee, release the toes, and let's walk the hands up onto that front thigh again. So same thing, pull the hips back to stack above the back knee and adjust the front foot as needed. From here, hands to the front and the back of the pelvis. Begin to exaggerate the tucking of the tail. Since we're in a nice stable position, this is good. We can really focus on that exaggeration. Usually it's just a lengthening down. We're really getting that tuck under. Feel the lift through the front of the right hip, stay here, or a little micro bend into that left knee. Once again, if you need that extra cushion underneath the right knee, take it. Especially when you're at home and you have things available, use what you got. Okay, hips come back up, slowly lower the hands down, and then we're gonna maybe grab the blocks here if you'd like them, walk the foot forward until you can straighten out the leg while keeping the hips stacked over the back knee. The toes are gonna pull back. First, we're gonna get that nice stretch. Long spine, inhale, extend the chest away from the hip line. And then exhale, hinging over or staying as you are. Feel your hamstrings. Try not to just curl your spine over. Try to extend the spine and allow the hinge to happen at the hips. One more breath. And then lengthen your spine, hands either on the ground or at the blocks. Then you're gonna feel your front heel and your back knee press into the ground and pull towards each other. Squeeze them towards each other for 3, keep breathing, 2, 1. Relax. And then press the foot and the knee down into the ground, and this time stretch them forward and back away from each other. Front heel reaches forward, back knee draws back. And then relax them here. Wiggle the foot in until you can plant it down with a bend into the knee. Walk the foot off to that 45-degree angle, that nice diagonal shape. Adjust it as needed. Walk the hands in, come all the way up. Hip stacks above that back knee. Hands to the front and the back of the pelvis Emphasize that tucking of the tail. Now from here, as you tuck the tail under, begin to bend into that left knee, sink into that left side. We want to keep the tail tucked so we're not flaring into our lower backs. We're allowing the full stretch to open into the hip flexors, all the way down into our quads. One more breath. Hips come back up to center as you slowly lower the hands down. Maybe grab your blocks here. Keep your leg at this angle. You're gonna walk it out until you can straighten it out while keeping hips stacked, okay? Toes pulling back here. Keep the spine long and pointing forward. Long spine, inhale, stay here, or exhale, hinging down. Maybe walk the hands towards the front of the mat as you fold. Let's just take one more deep breath from this position. Long spine, maybe walk the hands in, and then you're gonna feel the front heel and back knee press down, and imagine pulling them towards each other. Pull them towards each other for 3, nice and active, 2, 1, relax. And then engage, press them down, and this time, press them away from each other. Press, press, press for 3, 2, 1. Relax, okay. Wiggle that foot back in until you can replant the foot and walk it all the way directly out to that left side, toes pointing out. Walk the hands up, come all the way up, hands to the front and the back of the pelvis. Emphasize that tucking of the tail, and then bending into that left knee, sinking in. Holding here, feel that nice stretch into the inner hip and groin. One more breath. And then bring the hips back up. From here, hands are gonna lower down. You're gonna take that left foot. You're gonna roll, extend the leg out as you roll up onto the heel. And then slowly start to sink your hips back towards the back heel. And then come forward as you replant that left foot down. Ground the left foot. And then start to lift the heel as you walk your hands off to the right side. Come up onto those left toes. And as your hands walk out, drop the left hip, lift the chest. And then bring it back as you plant the foot down. Walk the hands in, and then lift the toes. Come up onto the heel as you sink back towards the back heel. Last round, walk the hands forward, plant the foot, roll up onto the toes as you walk your hands off to the right, sink down through your left hip. And then bring it all the way back, walk the hands in. From that kind of tabletop position, you're gonna keep the left leg. I'm gonna switch here just so you can kind of see a little better. Okay, you're gonna walk it in if needed, either leg straight or knee bent, lift it into a fire hydrant position, and then find some big circular motions. Switch directions. Doesn't matter if the knee is bent or if the leg is straight. Okay, now from here, one more big circle, and then bring it back to center, nice and long, and then cross it all the way over to the right side, set the foot down. Long spine, inhale, and then walk your hands off to the right side. Look back over your shoulder and over-exaggerate the curvature of your spine. You can kind of dip into it, play with the angles, notice what feels good to get all the way down into that lower left side. Slowly bring it back up to center, walk the hands back in. Left leg stretches long, and then bring it back into tabletop position. Move as you will for a couple breaths. Just recalibrate. Okay, make your way into a comfortable seated position. And we're gonna draw the soles of the feet together and let the knees open up wide into a butterfly shape. So from here, imagine using your hands to the insides of the feet to try to open up the feet. And by opening up the feet, you're encouraging that external rotation in the hips, rolling them open, and then lift the spine. Imagine your thigh bones pulling into the hip sockets as they roll open. And then stay here or exhale, forward fold, coming over the legs. Couple breaths here. Maybe even if you're there and the elbows are free, you can bring the elbows into the insides of your shins and help to open them up as well. Thigh bones continue to plug in, rolling open. One more breath. Slowly coming all the way back up. Now we're going to take some 90-90 sits, getting into the hips, and we'll kind of play with some movements from there. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to face differently just so you can get a better angle here. We're going to keep the right leg in front and try to get your shin bone to go parallel with the front of your mat, okay? Just worry about the right leg for now. If the left leg does whatever, let it do whatever. Okay, so shin parallel with the front of your mat. Adjust it as needed. And then you're going to lean into your right hip and take the left leg back to the side. So I'm kind of off my mat. It's okay if you're off your mat. If you need padding, take it. But imagine your left thigh is also running parallel with the front of the mat. Okay, and then try to line up that back shin to run in the same line as the side of the mat. Okay, flexing through the ankles. Spine up nice and tall, and I want you to feel your legs press down into the ground, same way we just did. Front leg presses down, back leg presses down. And then imagine squeezing them towards each other. Keep squeezing, spine up tall for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax, hands down, and then slowly walk your hands forward over the right leg. Maybe you walk just a little, maybe you walk out, maybe you lower down onto blocks, forearms, or all the way down to the ground. Just a couple breaths in this position wherever you're at. And then slowly come back up if you folded forward. So as you come upright, this is going to be the hardest variation for the next movement we're going to do. So if you need to at any point, you can walk your hands a little more forward, which will give you a little more space, okay? You'll know once we start getting into it. But I want you to really focus on a long spine. I don't want you to hunch and curl over. So with the long spine, maybe start with your hands forward and you can eventually work on coming all the way upright. But long spine here, press the back knee down and slowly try to lift through the pinky edge of that back foot, strengthening your internal rotators. So maybe the foot doesn't even lift, but I want you to try anyways. Activate those same muscle groups. Even if nothing's happening, something is happening. And over time, more and more will start to happen. Awaken those muscles for 3, keep lifting. 2, maybe upright, 1, and then slowly lower it all the way down to the ground, okay? Now from this position, you're gonna take the front foot, that right foot, and you're gonna decrease that angle by bringing the foot in a little bit closer. Same thing with the back foot, just bring the angles in a little bit closer. You're gonna walk your hands forward over that right leg, and then you're gonna slowly lean in and press your legs, try to lift the hips off the ground. You can also take your hands to blocks here. And then come up onto the fingertips and try to lift them as you extend forward through your hips, spine up nice and tall. Legs are nice and active to keep you supported. Now, you can use your hands on the ground if you need to. Otherwise, try to use the core. Hips draw back, spine draws forward, and slowly let your hips come all the way down to the ground, using the strength of the hips and the core with the control. Okay, now you're gonna drop back onto your hands, swivel your knees to center, and just go ahead and rock your knees side to side. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing, other side this time. So left leg lines up with the front of your mat, shin parallel with the front. Okay, nice 90-degree angle. Right leg kicks out to the side. Run your shin parallel with the side of your mat, and make sure your thigh is running parallel with the front of your mat. Flexing through the ankles, press your legs down into the ground. And as the legs press down, squeeze them towards each other. Activate here for 3, nice and strong, 2, 1, and then relax them. Spine lifts on an inhale, and then exhale, slowly start to come forward over the left leg. Maybe use your blocks and release down as much as it feels good to do for you. Let's just take a couple more breaths here. We're not here for too long. And then coming back up onto your hands. And then from here, if you need to, keep some weight forward, okay? Spine is straight. And then you're gonna try to lift through the pinky edge of that back foot. Lifting it up, feeling it here, hold. 3, 2, 1. Slow and controlled, lower it all the way back down. Okay, now pull the front foot in a little closer. Pull the back foot in a little closer, okay? Hands come over that left leg, lean in, press off the hips, bring them forward, and try to lift your hands extending forward through the hips, okay? If you need the hands, use them. Otherwise, hinge your hips back, spine forward. Slow and controlled, come all the way back down. Drop your hands behind you, swivel the knees to center, and just rock your knees side to side. Okay, we're gonna finish off strong here. And all we're gonna do is combine the movements we just did. So, soles of the feet together, knees open up wide. So I'm gonna show you, you don't have to do this one with me, but I want you to show you what we're gonna go through, and this is the most modified way you can work through it if your hips are just feeling zero mobility today, okay? So what we're gonna be doing, I'll show you what we're gonna do, and then the modified. So I'm gonna lift a leg, I'm gonna rotate it in, bring it out to the side, I'm gonna lean forward, extend out through the hips, swivel the feet around, sink back in, and then bring it all the way back around to the front, okay? Modified version will just be lifting the knee, walking the foot out, trying to keep it lifted as much as you can, but if you can't, just use the floor as much as you need, okay? Same thing, hands will come forward, you can swivel, walk it in, sink over to the side, let the hips come down, and then you can rotate back up onto the foot and bring it all the way back to center, okay? Great modified version to kind of work through the kinks and build some more stability and strength into the hips. Okay, otherwise, from butterfly, lift your right foot up, use your hands if you need to. You're gonna rotate it in. If the foot touches, it's okay. Bring it out to the side and then set it down. Lean towards your left leg. Maybe use the hands, maybe don't. Lean in, press, extend out through the hips. Then left foot slowly swivels back, walk it if needed. Right foot swivels forward, walk it if needed. Slow and controlled, maybe use the hands, sink all the way down. Lean to the right side just enough to lift the left, rotate it back around, and set the left foot down to meet the right butterfly. Do the same thing, opposite side first. Float the left foot, internal rotation as it sweeps to the side. Set it down. Lean towards your right leg, maybe use the hands, extend up. Right foot swivels back. Left foot swivels forward, take your time. Hinge back, hips to the ground. Stay in that left side. Right leg lifts, rotate it back out and in towards butterfly position. Hands to the outer knees, lift them towards each other. Set the feet as you drop back onto your hands and just windshield wiper the knees. Crossing the legs as you sit the spine up nice and tall. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in from the belly to the ribs and all the way up into your chest and your shoulders. Hold the breath here. And then open your mouth and let it all the way out. Hands at heart center. Thank your bodies for what they're able to do for you. And thank you so much for letting me be your guide today. Namaste. Thanks so much, everyone. If you're feeling kind of beat and you want to take some stillness, make your way onto your back, go into a shavasana, or just sit in stillness and enjoy kind of the sensations of your body. I always encourage rest, but I try to make these videos short for you to be able to enjoy them without taking too much of your day. So let me know in the comments what you think. Hopefully your hips are feeling really open and more mobile. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will have more content coming your way very soon. Thank you all so much.